Let's get into the big topic of open source, something that we actually say at Red Hat.
This is so awesome.
We are an open culture that believes in
What is that process that a developer, or let's say
as the Kubernetes ecosystem really boomed?
Hello, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is the Ask an OpenShift admin live stream. I'm Jonny Rickard, and you may notice that Andrew is not with us right now. He will be a couple minutes late, and actually he just popped up, so he might be a lot closer than we anticipated, so he'll be right behind us. But today we're joined by Luis from NetApp to talk about some of the updates from Trident into OpenShift and OpenShift Virtualization. Luis, you want to introduce yourself really quick?
Yes, thank you, Jonny and Sully, for having me here. Okay, so my name is Luis Rico. I'm product manager for Trident in NetApp, and happy to be here again, I guess. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, you're one of our boomerang guests. We've had you on a couple times before, and it's always an interesting topic with the things that are going on with NetApp and Red Hat's partnership. So it's cool to see, and kind of like it's cool to be kind of have a front seat to the evolution of like what's going on with the products. So real quick, the Ask an OpenShift admin live stream is part of the Red Hat office hours. So just like any office hours at a university or anything like that, Sully and I are here to answer any questions that you may have. They can be about the topic, or they can really be about OpenShift or Kubernetes, or really anything Red Hat or technology related. We'll do our best to answer them. Sully and I pride ourselves on not being the smartest people in the room, and we will do our best to, but we do know who the smart people are. And so when we do have a question that we can't answer, we will do our best to reach out to them and try and get it answered quickly. Sully, welcome. It's good to see you.
Howdy, it's good to be here. It's one of those days where I have meetings stacked all day long, and this is how it is.
This is what I was telling Luis, like you're the busiest man in the world right now with Summit coming up. So like there's probably very little to no free time for you.
So Summit is for the next week and a half. Summit is the least of my problems. So
ooh.
Yeah. So
Well,
it's just that time of year. It's a fun time of year. This is why we get paid the medium bucks. Right?
That's right. My man.
Yeah.
Cool. So what we're gonna do is we'll go into some top of mind topics really quick. It's a lot of really just reminders and some updates to documentation and stuff like that. But next week we will not be live streaming. There is the What's Next with OpenShift live stream from the product managers, and I'm gonna paste the link here. And it is from 10 to 11:30 Eastern time at this link on YouTube. So you can watch it. It's where all the PMs come together and they kind of talk about what's coming out in the product. And it's also a chance for you to ask questions directly and get your questions answered directly by the product management teams. So it's a good experience. It's a lot of good information so you can see what's coming out. Sully and I usually parse those and kind of condense it down into like what we think is important for administrators or just from an operational standpoint, and then we'll do a live stream on that to recap it. Next is Gerald Nunn put out a blog on the what's new in OpenShift GitOps 1.16, and the reason why I wanted to paste this is because if you are using OpenShift GitOps, there's a lot of cool things that are coming out. There is an application set policy that you can implement on your resources that will help kind of control what the application set will do to like as far as like preventing it from deleting a resource when it no longer controls it. So I thought that was a pretty cool feature that's coming out. And then there's a new feature within Argo that's coming out called the Hydrate, and it's in alpha dev preview or something like that. But it's a cool feature. It's something that Argo is pushing out to help facilitate some of the rendering manifests before they actually get deployed on the cluster. So you actually have a good idea of what's going to be implemented on your cluster before it gets implemented. So it's a cool feature that's coming out, something that they've been working on for a long time. So kind of excited about that. And then finally, we have Red Hat Summit, May 20th through the 22nd. I'm definitely going to be there. I think Sully's going to be there. Looking forward to it. I've got one talk that I'm doing, so it's going to be exciting to do that. I'm now in like the hustle stages to get the presentation done and the demo and all that stuff done. So like that's going to be my life for the next couple weeks is summit demo hell.
Yeah. I got tagged with doing some keynote moments the other day, so I've got to spend some time on doing those, as well as I'm going to be living my life at Summit in the CBC. So if you want to have one-on-one meetings with or like one to a few meetings with not just me, but a few dozen of my closest friends here in the BU, work with your account team and ask them to set up customer briefing center meetings, and we're happy to chat about any and all of the things OpenShift, as the case may be. But I would say do that sooner rather than later, because we're a month away, not just shy of a month away, and my calendar's already like half full. So definitely chat with your folks and make sure to get those in.
Right on. Yeah, I think that's all I had. So I don't know if you have anything else to add, Sully, but that's all I had for top of mind.
I do not. I'm so far underwater, I don't remember what daylight looks like. So,
Yes.
I have not been keeping up with the news, as they say.
Okay. Awesome. Well, and I also forgot one. Tomorrow on the Get Up Scott to the Galaxy, we have somebody from the Argo project coming on, and they're going to talk about the Argo CD version 3 update or upgrade updates. So make sure you check that out. That's going to be a cool one. It's all the latest and greatest things that are coming out in the upstream Argo project. So yeah, check it out. Make sure you ask your questions, because we're going to have the right people on. And that's finally it.
Thanks, Johnny. I appreciate you wrangling all those things. Like I said, I've been busy and been a little disconnected, and you're as always on top of things. So I appreciate
that. Thank you. All right, Luis, you're up.
Okay, so thank you, guys. I just wanted to tell you some updates, okay, from the last time we did this live stream with NetApp. Okay, so speaking about Trident and the changes that we had. So let me, for 1 second, share my screen. I will go quickly over some slides, and then we can jump in some demo time, if that is okay with you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so some updates from NetApp, okay, with Trident. I will speak about the latest and greatest features that we launched in October 2024. As you know, Trident, we have this version numbering of year month, okay, so 2410 is our October version of 2024, and we have 3 releases per year, so October, February, and June. Okay, so it's easy to see what is coming and when it's coming. Okay, we will also see some updates from the 2502, the February release. Okay, and we are also going to speak about Red Hat Summit, because NetApp is going to be there. I will be there as well. I'm also quite busy with that. And then we will jump to the live demo, okay, of several updates that we have in these releases, okay. So let me start with the 2410, okay. So the 2 most important things that we launched were supporting Google Cloud NetApp Volumes. So Google Cloud NetApp Volumes is the NetApp base, or NetApp technology-based primary storage or first-party storage in Google. So it's available. It's completely compatible with OpenShift dedicated. So customers using OpenShift self-managed in Google, they can use Google Cloud NetApp Volumes for persistent storage with Trident, and the same for OpenShift dedicated in Google. Okay, so it's completely available, and now it's GA. Okay, we had it in tech preview in the 2406 in the June 2024 release, and now is completely available. Okay, and this is good for OpenShift dedicated, and in fact we are working with you guys to make sure that with OpenShift dedicated, you can also use OpenShift virtualization on top of OpenShift dedicated, and you can use Google Cloud NetApp volumes as the persistent storage for virtual machines in OpenShift dedicated in Google.
And Louis, just so I'm clear, and I'm connecting dots for myself. So NetApp has equivalent services in other hyperscalers, right? So like AWS, FSxN. I don't remember what the Azure one is called, but
Azure NetApp
Volumes, I think.
Azure
Or
NetApp
Azure NetApp
Files. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, this is the latest one. Okay, so we started with Azure NetApp Files years ago. We added also years ago FSx for NetApp ONTAP in AWS, another first-party storage for the hyperscaler based on NetApp technology, and this is the latest addition, like 1.5 years ago. Okay, for Google. Okay, so now we have the 3 main hyperscalers using NetApp technology. Okay, and first-party storage. Okay, so it's really sold by Amazon, Azure, or Google Cloud, but it's based in our technology.
Yeah, and just to poke at the value here, right? It's really focused on like, because you get it through the hyperscalers marketplace, right? And it's one of those like, I want a NetApp volume. I go through, I click the button, and it's there for me. I don't have to do any extra work. I don't have to deploy an ONTAP select or anything like that.
No, it's not even in the marketplace. It's directly a first-party storage solution. Okay, so it's not third-party things like in the marketplace. So it's directly part of the Google Cloud offering, AWS offering, or Azure offering. Okay, so it's sold by them, in fact. So yeah. It's just using our technology, and with that thing, we are trying to do exactly the same than OpenShift. No, OpenShift everywhere. Okay, so the same experience managing containers and virtual machines on premise or in the public cloud. So we are doing the same. So the same experience, providing persistent storage for OpenShift on premise or in the public cloud.
If you saw me look down, I was looking at my sticky note here where I have our trusted, comprehensive, consistent bullet points here that we use with OpenShift when we talk about those things. I have marketing in my title, but I'm terrible at marketing, so I have to take notes on each of these things, right? and I'm showing my age. If the grade doesn't do it, if I write it on sticky notes, they get posted on my monitor.
So the second big thing is fiber channel support. So it was its tech preview in 2014 in October. Now you will see later that we have completely GA that in February. Okay, and then we have several updates. Okay, for example, automating the node preparation, worker node preparation for Amazon Linux 2023 in AWS, or doing the automatic backend update in Trident. That means that any changes that we do in the storage, okay, that will be automatically available for Trident. So if you are adding more capacity to your storage system, that will be automatically added. Okay, so also force detach for in speeding up the ungraceful node shutdown and failures and do a quick failover. Okay, or more things more related to the way we manage our own storage. Okay, and as I told you before KubeCon North America in Salt Lake City, we provided the general availability for Trident Protect, and Trident Protect is this new module, this new add-on to provide free of charge data protection and disaster recovery for Kubernetes workloads, VMs and containers, doing snapshots, backup, restores, and we did this demo in August timeframe, if I remember well, about Trident Protect. So it's just based on the development work that we have been doing for Astra Control for 4 years. Okay, so we have make it Kubernetes native, CLI, free to use, based on CRDs on this extension of the Kubernetes API. So everybody that is using NetApp storage can provide snapshots, backup, restores, disaster recovery with a storage replication for containers and VM workloads. Okay, so that's the idea of Trident Protect. So we did this GA of this add-on to Trident, this new module of Trident, and that was the big things. Okay, for 2502, very quickly jump into the February release. The most important things. So finally, after 2 years or more, Trident is a Red Hat OpenShift certified operator. Okay, in Operator Hub. So we are there. Okay, so it has been a community operator for many years, since Operator Hub existed, I believe. So finally, we made this effort to be a certified operator, and now it has been tested and supported and jointly tested and passed all the testing, and we are happy to provide this clarity and more support for customers, for OpenShift customers with this certified operator. Okay, so this is the big news.
Louis, I want to poke at that for a moment of so to your point, yes, Trident has been supported on OpenShift basically since day one. As long as Trident and OpenShift have been compatible with each other, it's always been fully supported.
3.4 version.
Yeah, but only from the NetApp side. So the response was always if our joint customers are using Trident on OpenShift, please call NetApp if you have a problem with Trident, and NetApp will fully support you. And through our support agreements, we'll help the customer, right? And the certification was always sort of a nice to have. Of one, it gets Trident listed in the catalog, which is amazing, and it makes it way easier to deploy and all that other stuff. But ultimately, it adds some additional testing that happens on the back end. Or let me rephrase this. It does more official testing that happens on the back end, because NetApp was really always doing that testing anyways. But now it's happening jointly, and therefore it means that you can pick up the phone and call either NetApp or Red Hat and get help. And we'll work with each other on the back end to do that. So I think it's a really great thing. I know it was. I still have a vague understanding of the certification program, so I know that there was, I'm going to say, a not insignificant amount of work on the side of NetApp, and I do appreciate that, and I do think that this is really important. So,
yeah, absolutely, and I completely agree. Okay, so the other big thing, the fiber channel support, that it was tech preview in the previous 24.10 release, and now is completely GA. Okay, so and we have done this fiber channel support now 8 years after Trident was born, because of OpenShift virtualization. Okay, because we have many customers using Broadcom VMware with NetApp storage through fiber channel connectivity and fiber channel infrastructure, and many of these customers now they are looking for alternatives, and one of the preferred alternatives is OpenShift virtualization, and we are happy to help and to be together in front of our common customers. Okay, and they want to just migrate from Broadcom VMware to OpenShift virtualization, keeping all the fiber channel infrastructure, all the fiber channel skill set, and all the fiber channel love for low latency. And that's the reason we have developed in record time this support for fiber channel protocol. Okay, so just to make sure that all these customers, they can keep using fiber channel protocol, and this fiber channel protocol is end to end. Okay, so we are providing fiber channel from the storage controllers to the worker nodes and to the virtual machines in the worker nodes. So we are not providing storage to a software-defined storage in the middle of inside OpenShift, and then this software-defined storage is providing via IP protocol the volumes to the virtual machines. No, it's end-to-end in that sense. No? So now we are happy to provide that support. Okay.
Yeah, this one's it's both slightly funny and really impressive to me. Of like, I remember being in the room 8 years ago when we decided not to have fiber channel support with Trident. And it was because the question was like, it's was it 2016, 2017 at the time? I don't remember. And it's like, but who uses fiber channel with Kubernetes? Right, because most clusters are virtual, right? NPIV technically exists, but we're not NPIV, but oh gosh, now I'm going to embarrass myself. Where you can assign a virtual fiber channel, adapter to a virtual machine, like technically possible, but nobody actually did that, and so the decision was to stick with the IP-based protocols for block, and now here we are in 2025, and as a result of macro industry things, we're adding support for fiber channel. And I know that OpenShift virtualization was a driving factor here, but I also can't help but wonder if AI workloads won't also become a consumer of this. When we have, existing fiber channel infrastructure, that is high speeds, high throughput, low latency, and we're deploying AI, model training, model tuning, right, that type of thing onto bare metal to maximize that resource utilization, CPU, NUMA awareness, direct access to GPUs, right, all that other stuff. Like, I can't help but imagine that AI based workloads with heavy data requirements are going to consume that as well. So
yeah, absolutely agree. It will be an interesting use case. No? See the access to existing data through fiber channel, and because we have this import capability in Trident, we can import existing volumes as PVCs in OpenShift. No? So yeah, that will be interesting. Okay, finally, as big thing, we wanted to simplify the customer experience for iSCSI protocol. So when you are using an iSCSI protocol, you need some prerequisites in the worker nodes. So you need the iSCSI daemon install, enable, and you need also multipath daemon install and enable, and with a specific configuration. And we were asking customers to do that. Okay, so you have to go to the worker nodes and do these things. Okay, for ROSA, it was a problem because customers, they don't have permission to modify the matching config of the worker nodes. Okay, so they have to ask the Red Hat SREs. Okay, and that's the reason we have decided to all these prerequisites, instead of asking the customer to do these things, okay, as a prerequisite to use iSCSI with Trident, we are doing them in the Trident code. Okay, so when you deploy Trident, now Trident is checking if in the worker nodes you have all these things enabled, and if you don't, okay, then we enable them for you, we configure them for you, and then you don't have to do anything. Okay, and this is especially important for ROSA. Okay, for customers in AWS using ROSA and using FSx for NetApp ONTAP, because now it's easier for them to use iSCSI protocol for any workload, or if they want to use OpenShift virtualization with a block protocol like iSCSI, they can do that. Okay, because they don't have to ask for permission to modify the machine config of the worker nodes or create a different ROSA pool of machines to have the right configuration for iSCSI. So I will try to show this, in the live demo part.
Hey, Luis, real quick, we have a question from rhope9. A few years back, the snapshot functionality was limited to 500 volumes using the Prio class per metro cluster. That change, have that, oh my gosh, have that changed, or are bumps on the current roadmap?
Yeah, we have increased all these limits. So the number of snapshots is still 1023 for any volume. Okay. So and then we have some limits in metro cluster configuration. Is just to explain to the rest of the audience, is our way to do a stretch cluster at the storage level. Okay, so you have two data centers, or three data centers, and two data centers, sorry, and you stretch your storage cluster between these two data centers, so everything is synchronously replicated and it has synchronous mirror everywhere. Okay, and then all the failover is automatic, no? And Trident is compatible with that. So if for any reason one side goes down, Trident is automatically using the other volumes that have been synchronously replicated to the other side to keep working, and the failover is automated. Okay, so you don't have to do anything. It's unattended failover. Okay, and this is also important for OpenShift virtualization customers, because VMware customers are used to this VMware Metro storage configuration that is based on the storage replication of the storage vendors. So we are providing exactly the same experience. You have an OpenShift stretch cluster in between two data centers and Metro cluster configuration, that is the storage stretch cluster, and you can use that. Okay, and we have increased the limits of the number of volumes for Metro cluster. So I don't remember now how many are them, because they are also depending on the model of the hardware, but it's not 500. Okay, 500 is too low. Okay, so yeah, it should be something greater. I don't know top of my head. Okay, but it's larger than that. Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, more things. Okay, we also launched a new line of storage arrays called ASA. Okay, that is only block storage. Okay, so all SAN arrays. So and these are also have a different architecture, and we adapt Trident to make sure that they can also be used as persistent storage for OpenShift. Okay, so we are just using iSCSI protocol in this first release of these new boxes, but we will add in June we will add NVMe over TCP, and in October we will add fiber channel protocol for this new set of boxes. Okay, the ASA boxes. We added also LACs for client-side encryption. We have at rest encryption, part of the NetApp storage operating system. ONTAP is called, and we also have client-side encryption, and we support also in-flight encryption with IPsec and Kerberos. They are quite cumbersome to manage in an OpenShift environment, so we are going to try to simplify that using NFS over TLS and NVMe over TCP over TLS to provide in-flight encryption that is easier to maintain and easier to configure in OpenShift environments. But this is for client-side encryption. So we had LACs support with iSCSI, and we are adding now support for NVMe over TCP, and fiber channel will come later. Okay.
So I didn't know about this one. Is it on the implementation side? Are we relying on Trident to basically set up a LUKS volume? And
yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. I did not know that was possible. So it's encrypted as soon as it hits the disk on the host side, and then in flight and at rest and everything else. That's awesome.
Yeah, and this is and you can have obviously different keys, and you in this way you separate the management of the keys used for LACs that maybe the OpenShift administrator are responsible from the encryption at rest keys that are managed by the storage admin. So you have two different teams managing encryption keys, and this is a way preferred by very large customers that they want to make sure that no single team has the possibility to decrypt, the volumes and access the data. Okay, we are also improving the node parallelism for ONTAP NAS protocol. ONTAP NAS is the protocol that we provide for NFS and SMB. And we are going to do this parallelism effort of improving the Trident capabilities at very big scale. And again, one of the motivations for that is OpenShift virtualization, because we have to manage tens of thousands of persistent volumes at a scale. So we are going to improve the parallelism in Trident for the entire year, okay, for the entire 2025. And we started with this, okay. We also added cross namespace volume clone, so you can now do a quick clone in a different namespace. So traditionally with CSI, you have to clone in the same namespace an existing PVC snapshot. So now we are allowing to do that between different namespaces, okay. And we are also keeping improving the force detach things for the ungraceful node shutdown. Any questions so far about this? No, I guess not.
Nope, we're all good.
Okay, so for Trident Protect, we added to the existing GA version. In this February version, we added OpenShift virtualization support for backup and restore to object storage. So in the very first version of October, we only provided for virtual machines a storage replication and disaster recovery with a storage replication. And now we wanted to add a traditional backup to object storage and restore from object storage to the existing storage replication. Okay, so you can now protect OpenShift virtualization virtual machines in the way you want. If you want to use traditional backup to object storage, or you want to use storage replication using our replication technology that is called SnapMirror, you can do that. You can do both of them, okay? And you can use both simultaneously. So you can do a daily backup or weekly backup to object storage for retention of 1 month or something like that for the virtual machines, and also you can use storage replication for fast disaster recovery with low RPO and low RTO. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to highlight is NetApp is going to be in the Red Hat Summit. We are going to be gold sponsors. We will have this booth 347. So we are very happy to be with all of you guys and presenting there and have a booth there. So I also will be there. So we have several sessions, and I wanted just to highlight 4 of them are related to OpenShift virtualization, so we are quite focused as well. And the first one in Tuesday is related to this, NetApp and Red Hat together in the cloud ecosystem in the 3 hyperscalers. Okay, so it will be very, very interesting to attend that one. Okay, so what we are doing different this year is we are creating a lab for everybody can do hands-on and test the disaster recovery of OpenShift containers and virtual machines with Trident and Trident Protect. Okay, and we want to that everybody can test by themselves how this works. Okay, not only me doing here demos. Okay, and so we have been working with you guys to create this lab, and the idea is this lab will be available for Red Hat Summit, and hopefully it will be available afterwards, so any Red Hat customer, Red Hat partner can access this lab and can play by themselves how to use Trident and Trident Protect with NetApp storage to provide, all the capabilities that we provide today. Okay. So the live demo is going to be based on this lab, by the way. Okay, so I want to thank Hendrik Land and Yves Weiser in the NetApp side that have been hardly working, and also the architect Wolfgang Kulhanek in the Red Hat side that has been helping us to build that lab. Okay, so that is not yet publicly available, but we can spin up a few labs. Okay, to show what's going on. Okay, so this is basically the lab. This is the Red Hat Summit number of the lab, the 2739. Okay, so basically everything is built in AWS. So we have 2 ROSA clusters, each one in a different VPC in the same AWS account, and they are connected to 2 FSx for NetApp ONTAP storage in AWS, in the VPCs, inside the VPCs. We have 2 different CDRs for the VPCs, so we can do, connectivity and connect everything, and there is no collision with the IP addresses of both OpenShift or ROSA clusters. And what we are doing is using Trident in both ROSA clusters, and we have enabled OpenShift virtualization, nested virtualization, not using bare metal nodes because it's very expensive for all the attendees that can use this lab. Okay, and this nested virtualization has some limitations in ROSA, but it's okay for demo purposes and for learn how it works. Okay. So in here we will be able to create, VMs and containers and do backup and restore and disaster recovery for VM and containers. Okay. So yeah, let me
just to interrupt you real quick, Luis. So I just want to, I guess, point out or maybe ask a couple of things. There's also a question from the audience here. So I see this is using. So yes, we're in AWS using ROSA. All of that is fully supported. You can use OpenShift virtualization fully supported with ROSA, so long as you're using bare metal nodes. Like you said, this is using nested virtualization, which is technically possible but not supported, mostly as a cost control measure within the labs because bare metal nodes are expensive. And like you said, it's a demo, it's a lab environment, so it's okay if performance isn't as good as we would want in a production environment. The other thing I wanted to point out is it's using FSXN because we said before FSXN is super easy. It's literally NetApp. It's literally ONTAP, just available directly through AWS in this instance. But all of this works just as well on-prem with ONTAP systems as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So all this functionality is available also for self-managed OpenShift on AWS using FSXN as well. Okay, we are using ROSA because it's, easier to deploy, I guess. But yeah, it's available for on-prem and also for an hybrid scenario. Okay, so you can do this disaster recovery for OpenShift virtualization VMs from OpenShift on-prem to ROSA, for example. That is getting very popular. This option to have disaster recovery of the OpenShift virtualization on-prem in AWS. So you can also do that. Okay, so absolutely no problem. Or the other way around. Okay, so from AWS to on-prem. Okay, on-prem, AWS on-prem, AWS. All these combinations are supported.
That just blew my mind a little bit because now with UDN, user-defined networks, being added in OpenShift 4.18 and support with virtual machines and all that makes disaster recovery across from on-prem to hyperscaler or vice versa super easy. Because UDN, we can create those networks on demand. We keep the IP addressing the same across all of them. We're relying on the underlying storage and Trident Protect to do the replication pieces. That's some really cool stuff. That's exciting to me.
I have to learn this UDN thing. Okay, so write it down. This.
Yeah, it's a part of the overall story is called universal connectivity, and then one of the features of that is what we're calling user defined networks, or UDN. And with UDN, effectively, as a user, I can go in and create per namespace networks. So I create my own layer 2 network with my own IP spacing inside of there. My IP space can overlap if I choose. I can have multiple namespaces, each with their, the same IP space inside of there. I can connect all of my pods and all of my virtual machines in there. It also supports layer 3 topology. So using BGP, I can go in and effectively I go to my network team, and my network team says, I'm tired of dealing with you. Here's a /16, get out of my face. Right. And so I take that /16 and my BGP AS number, I feed it into UDN, and now UDN will carve up networks and then advertise them across the network for me. And it'll work. I can put both pods and virtual machines directly onto the network that way as well. So there's lots of really cool stuff that's happening there.
And using BGP. Okay. This is super interesting. Okay.
Yeah. There's lots of cool stuff that's happening. So I'm not going to spoil the what's next or the what's new, but there's tons of stuff that's happening in the upcoming releases. So I just had a heart-to-heart with our release team of like, hey, we should be making a big deal out of a few things. So I'll quit dilly-dallying. Israel has a question here of, does Trident use NetApp as a solution for disaster recovery?
Yes, I'm afraid that the answer is yes. So Trident is only useful for NetApp storage and Trident Protect, and this disaster recovery is only possible if you are using NetApp storage. Okay, NetApp storage, that can be NetApp storage on-premise or NetApp storage in the public cloud, with this FSxN, Azure NetApp Files, or Google Cloud NetApp Volumes, but it has to be NetApp storage. So Trident is the CSI provider for NetApp storage. And we are only able to do these things that I'm going to show to you after using NetApp storage. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let me jump to this thing. So the first thing I wanted to highlight is this is the lab in the Red Hat demo platform. So hopefully this will be available after Summit for everybody. Okay, so you will be able to do hands-on disaster recovery of offensive containers. The first thing I wanted to highlight is the operator hub thing. Okay, so if this is a ROSA cluster, if you go to operator hub and you just filter using NetApp or Trident, whatever you want, in addition to the Apache Spark NetApp Apache Spark supported by our InstaCluster guys, that is already a certified operator. You can see that now we have community Trident operator and the certified Trident operator. So this is the one that has been here for a while. Okay, so if you just want to install the certified, you can see that you will have the 25.2.0, sorry, and 25.2.1 versions. Please use always the latest patch version, because we are fixing bugs between the two versions. Okay, and you just have to click install, and ideally we like to put this thing in the Trident namespace, but you can put it whenever you want. And then you can obviously decide the update approval. Okay, and because now is a certified operator, you can also use the automatic approval. Okay, and you just click install, and this will install the Trident operator. And in a few minutes, you will be able to create the Trident orchestrator, that is the operand that is going to create everything. So if you are a customer let me finish this thing first. So now we have the Trident orchestrator. Also, we have here an object called Trident configurator for AWS FSxN backend configuration. So I'm going to use the Trident orchestrator. That is the one that normally you have to use So if you go to the YAML, you can see that you have default options here. You can add, for example, this new feature that I told you about, preparing the worker nodes for iSCSI protocol. So I just have to put here in the node prep, this iSCSI, okay? So I want to, to prepare the worker nodes with iSCSI protocol. So you just add this thing, and this will, automatically, using the privilege mode of our CSI operator, it will change the worker nodes of this ROSA cluster to be compatible with iSCSI, enabling the iSCSI daemon, the multipath daemon, and adding the configuration that is compatible with EBS and GP3 and GP2. Okay, so we are not breaking anything. Okay, in a few minutes that will be installed. If you are a customer and you are already using the community operator and it's already installed, to swap from community to certified, and the community, we will keep it for 3 or 4 versions altogether until we definitely remove the community operator and keep only the certified operator. You can just go here to this install, or go to the install operators, and you can decide to uninstall the operator, because I want to move from the community operator to the certified operator. I will delete all the operands. So when I do this, the access to the persistent storage is kept. So you are not going to lose access to any persistent volume. Everything is going to be kept, and only the new dynamic provisioning request will be queued until Trident is available again back. Okay. So once I have removed the Trident, okay, and we can see if there are pods in the Trident. So you can see in the namespace Trident, there are no pods. Now I can install the certified operator. Trident, okay. The latest version, you can install it. Please install it in the same namespace that the community operator was before, just to reuse all the custom resources with the Trident backend, all the Trident configuration that is still there, okay? And you just have to install and create the Trident orchestrator again, and you can add, for example, now the iSCSI prep, okay? And this will swap from community operator to certified operator. So just wanted to highlight that. This should be already installed. If we go to the pods, we can see, okay, all the Trident controller and the Trident operator pods are both of them running, and all the Trident node, the daemon sets in each of the nodes of the OpenShift cluster of this ROSA cluster are already running. No? And you can see here the 6 containers with all the CSI sidecards. Okay. And this was started just now. Okay. Sorry, because I'm in Central Europe. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, Lewis. So we have a couple of questions from rhope9. So one, he was saying that he's been using a Quay pull-through cache to avoid, the Docker rate limits, but to get that working, had to hard code the image pull URLs to do that. Is the certified operating using Quay.io as the registry instead?
Not yet. We are thinking about moving there, because we are more and more customers complaining about the Docker limits of pulling limits. Okay, so we are thinking in moving there. Okay, so yeah, it's a very good question. Yeah,
we'll just start a NetApp registry. Registry.netapp.io. Right?
It's easier. Okay,
it's
okay.
It's just that easy, right? And then rhope9's second question, would the upgrade also work for Helm installed operators?
You mean moving from community operator to certified operator? That was the question?
Yep. But if the community operator was deployed using Helm instead of using the operator hub.
Very good question. I have to check that one. Okay, I'm not completely sure. I believe so. Okay, but in fact, all the objects are the same. Okay, you deploy via Helm or you deploy via operator hub operator. You are going to have the Trident operator and the Trident controller and all the daemon sets for the worker nodes. Okay, or sorry, for all the cluster nodes. Okay, so I guess it will be exactly the same. So you can uninstall using Helm and then deploy the certified operator. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I was finishing this thing. I also wanted to modify this using the ISCSI. So when I'm swapping from community operator to certified operator, I want to use this new feature of preparing the ISCSI nodes in ROSA. So yeah, I can do that. And this will be now working, and all the existing volumes are going to be there. Okay, and you as soon as this finish of installing and deploying the Trident pods, okay, that are now deploying, it will be the dynamic provisioning will be resumed. Okay, this is one of the things I wanted to show to you. You know, in this lab guide, you will see everything. So you will have introduction. You will have the how to install and configure Trident. We are using the DR cluster. We have these two clusters, production and DR. And we are going to install in the DR cluster Trident using the certified operator. Then you can provision workloads, okay, VMs workloads, and also containers workloads like WordPress, okay. In the module 4, you will learn how to install and configure Trident Protect. Trident Protect today is only available, the installation using Helm. Okay, is not yet part of the certified operator. We want to make that happen in a later release this year. Okay, but now is using Helm. Okay, the Trident Protect add-on installation. And once you do that, you can start doing backup and restore, container workloads or virtual machine workloads, and also doing the module 6, that is the disaster recovery for your virtual machine. So if you go over this, you can, for example, test that there is a file in your OpenShift virtualization virtual machine that we are using CentOS 9, okay, that is quite compatible with the nested virtualization in ROSA. Okay, and you can go over the steps that you need to perform in Trident Protect to make this disaster recovery happen. So you have to create an application, and an application in Trident Protect is the thing that I want to protect, okay? And this thing can be one namespace or several namespaces with everything on it, okay? In this case, I'm defining my VM, okay? That is the namespace where I have this. This is the prod cluster in the top window where I have my VM namespace, and in this my VM namespace you can see I'm using this CentOS Stream 9 virtual machine that is running and is using block storage through the ISCSI storage class. Okay, I have timeout, so I will have to log in. So you create this application with this namespace, okay? And then you can create snapshots, and these snapshots are not only CSI snapshots. These snapshots they have two components. The snapshot of all the metadata in this namespace, all the virtual machine, custom resources, okay? Config map secrets, okay? And obviously the PVC definitions. And the second component is the CSI snapshot of the PVCs that are being used by the virtual machines. Okay, so we have these two-way snapshots with data and metadata. Okay, and then you set up the mirroring relationship in the disaster recovery cluster. Okay, so in the disaster recovery cluster, you just create this custom resource app mirror relationship that I believe I showed to you in August, but with containers instead with VMs, and this will, do have a namespace mapping. So I'm going to go from my VM in the production cluster to the VMDR in the disaster recovery cluster, and I'm using a lot of things, and I want that my desired state is established, okay, for my replication, okay. And after you do that, then you can see that you have this replication established and you can fail over your application. So let me quickly connect to these environments before we finish the call. Okay, let me retrieve the password of my SSH. Okay.
And before anybody calls us out for like credentials being seen, these environments are all ephemeral. They get destroyed after just a couple hours. So
yes, that's true. Okay, so no harm. Okay, let me check if I'm logged in. This is my VM, and this is also the production environment. Let me quickly use the kubeconfig DR and log in to the DR environment. Okay, and then in this environment, I have my VMDR. Okay, so here I have the production. Okay, and here I have the disaster recovery cluster, ROSA cluster. Okay, so here I should have the here I should have nothing. Okay, so you can see in the VMDR I have only the PVC that is receiving the replication, and I have the replication established. And this is I'm using this Trident Protect, that is a command line helper, but I can also use OC get AMR. Okay, because at the end is just a custom resource, okay? And I can see that it's established, okay? And if I want to get more details about how my replication for disaster recovery is going, I just have to ask the Kubernetes object, and you can see all the details and the status, and the latest transfer snapshot is from 1 minute ago, I believe. Okay, in Greenwich time or GMT time zone. Okay, so my replication is going well. If I just want to do failover, I just have as of the virtual machine, and we can see also here the virtual machine. So this is our production environment, my VM project with the virtual machine running, and I have no virtual machines in the VMDR namespace in the DR OpenShift cluster. So if I just want to test my disaster recovery, I just have to promote and to do a failover, and nothing will happen to the primary cluster, and I will just bring up my virtual machine in the disaster recovery cluster using storage replication, so it will be very fast. So let me do OC edit of the AMR. The AMR is in the VMDR namespace. Okay, so this is our app mirror relationship object, and I'm just going to do here change the desired state from established to promoted, and this will trigger our failover, and it will bring up the virtual machine in our DR OpenShift cluster. Okay. So let me check if I can see what is happening here. Okay, nothing yet. And hopefully this will trigger the virtual machine here.
And
I'm sorry because I know that we are at the end of the hour. Okay, sorry for that.
Yeah, no worries. I had maybe an easy question, hopefully an easy question. I know everything right now is CLI driven. Is there any goal or roadmap for a GUI?
Yeah, this very good question. Right now the objective was to do everything CLI and Kubernetes native so it's easier to automate. Okay, so you can use GitOps and Argo CD to automate everything here. We have in NetApp we have a tool that is called BlueXP. That is a management tool for the hybrid cloud, for managing storage in the hybrid cloud, and this is able to do replication between on-premise and the hybrid cloud and everything. And part of this tool, BlueXP, is backup and recovery. Okay, and this backup and recovery feature is able to do backup and recovery of SQL Server, Oracle, VMware. And we are adding Kubernetes, integrating Trident Protect with this BlueXP backup and recovery tool. Okay, so this will be the first graphical user interface available for our customers. It will have cost, okay, because BlueXP backup and recovery is a paid tool. Okay, so if you want to keep in the free of charge thing, you will have to use the CLI. If you want to move to a graphical user interface with multi-cluster management and managing all these things via graphical user interface, you will have to purchase the BlueXP backup and recovery solution.
Got it. No, that's awesome. I'm happy to hear that it's being added.
Yeah. So guys, this is not working. So this is I'm getting a promoting state.
Yeah.
But
the joys of a live demo, right?
Yeah, exactly. It should have been go to promoted, not promoting. Okay. So promoted. It should appear here. I don't know what's going on. So I guess we have no time to troubleshoot. So please, if you go to Summit, go for this lab and you will experience the demo working properly. Okay, that it just worked properly 1 hour ago. Okay, with this lab environment. So, and after Red Hat Summit, you will have this lab available in the Red Hat demo platform. Okay, so you will be able to experience these joys of the live demos by yourself. Okay.
And we do have a question from Nikos. Could we use this for Metro cluster implementations, or is it just for DR scenarios, like data protection we have in OpenShift?
Yeah, very good question. Okay, so this is for DR. Okay, so here you have to take action and you have to decide, okay, I'm going to do a promotion. Okay, I'm going to break my replication relationship and I'm going to promote the virtual machines in my DR cluster. Okay, so you have two OpenShift clusters and you have two storage systems, normally in two different sites or two different regions, and then you decide to do disaster recovery. Okay, for the Metro cluster thing, if you have one OpenShift stress cluster like you have for VMware, okay, VMware stretch cluster, everything is automatic. You don't have to do anything. It's an unattended failover. Containers at virtual machine will keep working in the site that is surviving, in the site of the Metro cluster that is surviving, and in the side of the OpenShift cluster that is surviving. If you have two OpenShift clusters, then we have a roadmap item that is not yet implemented to do failover of namespaces between the two OpenShift clusters. So if you have one OpenShift stress cluster, it's going to work, okay, without doing anything, okay, unattended. If you have two OpenShift clusters, we still have development work to do, okay, to make it work.
Got it. No, that makes sense, because with two OpenShift clusters, you have to have some way of basically informing the other one of the objects and recreating those maps, right? So there was something I was going to say.
Any more questions? Sorry.
There's something else. So about the lab. Yes, it will be available at Summit. I think you showed the lab number earlier. If you're going to Summit,
Yes.
make sure you look in your session catalog. Yep, 2379. So make sure you look in there, you register for it. I'm sure there'll be multiple instances of that happening. So post Summit, there's a couple of different things that can happen. So what I would expect to happen is, for Red Hat folks, this lab will be available on our HDP for at least a year. And then how we make it available to customers is essentially you just have to ask your Red Hat account team of like, hey, I really want to, get hands-on. I really want to see this lab. Can you please provision me an instance of that? And then your account team goes in, and it's literally like 3 clicks or 4 clicks for them to create that instance and then hand it over to you to do that. So I haven't talked with. I saw the person who is responsible for all of the labs yesterday while I was in the Red Hat Tower. But I have not asked them about any updates on making labs more broadly available, publicly available. So it's something that has been a dream and a goal for literally as long as I have worked at Red Hat, of making those Summit labs available to anybody at any time. But there's a lot of challenges associated with that. Okay. So if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to keep asking those while we as we do our dismount here. If anybody, for those of us who are not watching us live, please don't hesitate to reach out. So we love to hear from you. I just realized that our names are not visible here. There we go. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Email is probably the most consistent way that we are reachable. You can see my email address, Sully, SULLY, @redhat.com, or Jonny, JONNY, @redhat.com. Screen there. Feel free to email us. I will admit that I am running way behind on email. I don't even want to talk about the disgusting number of emails, unread emails that are in my Slack. Tick, tick, tick of Slack that's happening in the background that has been going nonstop throughout the live stream. But apologies if I have not responded to folks yet. I promise it's not you, it's me, and I'm running a little behind. And yes, thank you, Jonny, for putting Lewis's email on there as well. So let's see, Kevin, please reach out to your account team, or if you're a Red Hat person, they won't be published in the catalog until after Summit. So a little behind the scenes sausage making on how Summit Labs work. So I think it was 2 weeks ago, the lab infrastructure had to be solidified. Basically, they reached the what do they call it? Change freeze point. And now they're going through and they're doing testing and validation and making sure that everything works. Every time it deploys the same way with all the things in it, and fixing any bugs that pop up there. And then I want to say next week is when they begin doing scale testing. So they'll go through and they'll deploy, if the lab room has 100 seats, they'll deploy 120 seats of the lab to make sure that, all of the automation is there and in place and all that. And then they'll go through and they'll do tests because we've encountered this time, Red Hatters can speak to this, we occasionally encounter issues where we literally run cloud providers out of capacity. This happened with our hosted control planes lab. At Red Hat 1 earlier this year, where we literally ran the Google region out of capacity. So there's they'll do a bunch of stuff there, and then it's not until Summit happens is when they actually become available in the internal Red Hat catalog. So please don't hesitate to reach out to your account team for those things, but they won't be available yet. Let's see, some questions that are popping up. Steve, can you confirm if there is an SMB/CIFS CSI driver that is not in Tech Preview in 4.18? So CIFS, I know we always use CIFS. Hasn't CIFS been deprecated for like 15 years now? I don't remember. Anyways,
it's still working. We have customers. Using brave customers using Windows nodes in OpenShift clusters. and we are providing persistent storage through SMB thieves to them using Trident. So we have been doing that for 2 years, more or less. Okay. So yeah, it's available.
I thought OpenShift had a generic SMB CIFS driver as well. I don't think it's a provisioner. I think it's more like I have this SMB volume. I want to create a PVC out of it, type of thing. But
That's what I remember. Yeah.
Okay. So whether or not it's in tech preview in 4.18, I honestly don't know, Steve. We can poke and see if we can find that out, or maybe in the last minute here while I'm running my mouth, I see Johnny furiously typing.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. Most likely it'll be a next stream thing.
Okay. Xavier, yes. NetApp and Trident, lots of cool stuff you can do there. If you're a NetApp customer, does NetApp still have the ONTAP simulator? Is that still a thing?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're a customer and you have access to the simulator, it works with the simulator as well. I used to do that all of the time. Provision, just a quick and easy thing to go and see how it works and what happens if I do this and is it going to blow up type of thing. So the ONTAP simulator is a great tool for that. So aside from that, I don't have anything else for this week. As Johnny said, next week we are going to be off air in favor of the What's Next, which is the roadmap presentation. So I don't think I will be monitoring that one because I will be in downtown Raleigh all week next week for what we're lovingly referring to as ETX. So Johnny, I don't know if you'll be online for that one, helping manage Q&A and all that. Okay. But keep an eye out for that. If you haven't seen that one pop up, it should be staged already, I think, in YouTube, or if not, it will be soon.
It is staged. I staged it. Yeah, it's staged.
Nice. I know you're like our lead YouTube guy these days, Johnny.
It feels like it sometimes. Yeah, it's crazy. I still can't figure out my audio. So yeah.
Yeah, we've only been doing it for a couple of years. It's fine.
You would think I would know by this point.
Yeah, don't feel embarrassed. All right, y'all. I'm going to click some buttons here. Johnny, or Lewis, I should say, thank you for coming on again. I greatly appreciate you taking the time. And
thank you for inviting me, guys.
Yeah, it's always a joy, and I'm always excited. Always excited to see the progress and see the things that are happening with NetApp and Trident, and not just OpenShift integration, but Kubernetes integration. I think it's really cool, the stuff that's going on. So, Thank you. And with that, I'll hand over to Johnny for any last words.
Hey, Louis, thank you very much. I hope you had a great vacation. Thank you for coming off your vacation and coming directly into the stream. We really do appreciate it. So appreciate your time.
It has been a hard landing, okay, but anyway, happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. And you're always welcome back. And Steve, just want to let you know that it looks like in 4.18, like the CSI driver is not tech preview, but some of the features are. So just take a look at that link that I shared, and hopefully that answers your question. And if not, shoot Sully and I an email, and we'll try and get you squared away. That's it, Sully. I'm good to go.
All right, y'all. Thanks a bunch, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.